Ladies and gentlemen, on this Friday edition of the News Hour, I'm going to tell you an explosive tale of alleged corruption, collusion and intimidation. Mountains of cash has been recovered from multiple residences of Arpita Mukherjee, close aide of the former Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee. She is believed to be a close aide of this minister. Just yesterday, on the 28th of July, 27.9 crore was recovered from her Bulgaria home. Remember, this follows the first raid where 21.90 crores in notes of 500 and 2000s was stashed in a room in a flat that she owned. That's just cold, hard cash. Bundles and bundles of it that were put in trunks, and almost 8 to 10 trunks of that cash that was taken by the Enforcement Directorate. Add to that the jewelry and the gold bars, and if I can show you that jewelry, each kada there is about half a kg and each bar of gold is about a kg. Now that's the kind of jewelry and gold that we are talking about. And the total recovery at the last count stands at about 55 crores in just cash and jewelry. And that is just the tip of the iceberg as per the agency. Her stash no more a secret, and all that's left for Arpita Mukherjee is perhaps play the victim card. So after all her theatrics on screen, today Arpita Mukherjee cried, flapped her arms, jostled with security officials who wanted her to get out of their vehicle for a medical test. And finally, the security personnel had to literally pull her out and drag her into the hospital for examination. So what explains this emotional breakdown? ED sources have told us that 3 of her bank accounts have been frozen now, and collectively they contain over 2 crore rupees. That's not all. 4 of her cars are missing. As per sources in the agency, these cars went missing from her Diamond City flat complex and are believed to have gone missing right after Arpita's arrest. And these are cars that are rather moderate. A Mercedes, an Audi, a Honda CRV, a Honda City. Now here's why this spells trouble for Partha too. Arpita Mukherjee's arrest had led to Partha Chatterjee, and Partha himself owns at least 10 flats in Kolkata's posh localities that are now under the agency scanner. They could be valued, combined with the cash and the gold, at about 120 crores as per sources that are still estimating this haul in the Enforcement Directorate. And that's not all. 17 other locations across the state are also on the radar. Times Now Navbharat's team traveled to one of these residences and are now under the scanner. Take a look.
अर्पिता मुखर्जी के 2 फ्लैटों से करीब 50 करोड़ रुपए के आसपास बरामद हो चुके हैं, लेकिन ईडी सूत्रों की माने तो ये महज बानगी भर है। अभी काली कमाई का और सच आना बाकी है। इस वक्त हम बेलगरिया इलाके में मौजूद हैं। ये क्लब टाउन हाइट्स सोसाइटी है जिसमें अर्पिता मुखर्जी का फ्लैट है। ईडी की टीम ने यहां पर छापेमारी की थी, जिसके बाद ईडी को करोड़ों रुपए यहां से बरामद हुए थे। इस वक्त जो है, जो दोनों फ्लैट हैं अर्पिता मुखर्जी के, यहां पर 2 फ्लैट बताए जा रहे हैं और ये दोनों फ्लैट जो हैं वो इस वक्त ईडी ने सील किया हुआ है और इसी वजह से अंदर जाने की इजाजत जो है नहीं है।
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this scam taint forced the Trinamool Congress to finally act yesterday, and the minister was sacked and suspended from the party. The party, right from the start, has been maintaining that Arpita Mukherjee, who is at the center of this scam, is not linked to the TMC, though on several instances that has been proven wrong, as her link to Partha and many others in the party has come to the fore. But for the former number 2 in the Trinamool Congress, the timing of his sacking is all wrong. Listen in. question I want to ask on the Newshour tonight. Did Partha's loot go unnoticed or was it deliberately ignored? That's the question and that's the debate. Partha files unravel. That's the hashtag and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Gaurav Bhatia, national spokesperson of the BJP, Rishi Bagri, political analyst, Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst, Arpita Banerjee, political analyst. But my first question goes to Dr. Santanu Sen, member of parliament and national spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Dr. Santanu Sen, all this while, the major question that people of this country want to know is, why was the Trinamool Congress in denial? Why was it at one level or the other protecting Partha Chatterjee, despite the fact that a huge amount of cash, gold, jewelry has been unearthed, and now documents of properties and assets worth crores of rupees. At the last count, the estimates are about 120 crore with all the gold, the cash and these assets. I want to ask you, is there no internal mechanism within the government, within the party to check what kind of money is being made by people who are representing the party and the government?
Navika, I strongly condemn your first two statements. First of all, you said why party was in a denial mode, which was absolutely not. Party was never in a denial mode. And secondly, you have said why Partha Chatterjee was being protected. Nobody protected Partha Chatterjee because it's Trinamool Congress which has expressed his views since day one, which has categorically said party has got nothing with this lady from whom this money has been recovered. Party has got nothing to do with this money that has been recovered. Party wants ED to complete this probe as early as possible in an independent way and let the truth come on the surface. Once it is proved, party will take its decision. And later on, yesterday, party has created a history because it's only Trinamool Congress which can take strong step against any person related to his party who is found to be guilty or who is found to be accused. That's why our chief minister has categorically taken the administrative step. And our party has categorically taken the political step, saying that if after the investigation, Mr. Chatterjee is found to be not guilty, again party will reconsider. Till then, party has taken the step, and at the same time, government has taken the step. So, party was never in a denial mode, and secondly, party was never safeguarding Partha Chatterjee. So, I strongly condemn your first two statements.
Dada, I only said the first two statements because it was on day 4 or day 5 that the party took action against him. If you were so convinced that you would take him back when he was proven not guilty, you could have taken that decision on day 1. The fact is that on day 1 when he was arrested and all this money, at least 21.90 crore was got from his associate's flat. And that day also this decision could have been taken. So the denial was existent for 4 days. And that's the question I asked you. You may condemn me as much as you want, but isn't it a valid question?
Let me answer your question in a befitting manner. First of all, it's Trinamool Congress which has taken step. Yes, you are talking about 5 days gap. Party goes through a proper procedure. The incident has taken place on 22nd. Party decided to have its disciplinary committee meeting on 29th, 28th, and accordingly it has taken decision. Now let me ask you one question very humbly. Today we came to know that one minister of Gujarat ministry, he was found to be accused of rape and unlawful confinement. This complaint was lodged by a lady in the state of Gujarat. Can we expect that Gujarat government or Gujarat chief minister is going to expel that very minister in coming 1 or 2 days? I can ensure you this type of action is not going to taken by that particular government of that particular state of Gujarat, because it's only Trinamool Congress which has got the guts to say that we have got zero tolerance to corruption. May I ask you one question with all humility? What was the amount of money that was recovered from Madam Singhal, who was closely associated to some of our ministers of the central government? I don't want to take the name. I can cite you several such examples, but I can ask you one question, just cite a single example when the other political leaders have been sacked by the party, or where the other political parties run government has taken any step against any such minister who was accused of any such complaint or any such crime. So just cite me one example.
All right. A flurry of questions. Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, the ball is in your court. Please answer the questions raised by Dr. Santanu Sen.
Very respectfully, I heard Santanu Sen ji, and I would say that this decision taken by Mamata Banerjee is the effort of a very strong opposition party, the Bharatiya Janata Party in West Bengal, and the media chasing her to answer legitimate questions. So with a very heavy heart, bahut bhari man se Navika ji, left with no options, she had to sack the minister. And the fact that this was done after 6 days, when the corruption was unearthed and ED seized around 21 crores then, but Mamata Banerjee did not respond and later responded under pressure, goes a very long way to show that she is equally guilty, equally complicit in this loot and corruption taking place in West Bengal. Second fact, Shantanu ji, you should know, the ED proceedings, Navika, is going on by virtue of an FIR that was ordered by the Calcutta High Court in a petition numbered 9979 of 2022. And when Shantanu ji says, no, we were never supporting him, you are absolutely wrong, because the state government before the Calcutta High Court opposed investigation by the CBI. If you had nothing to hide, why were you opposing a CBI investigation? And now, Navika, just see, 50 crores of cash recovered. Even the pet dog of Partha Chatterjee has more facilities than a rich person in India, because he is the pet dog of Partha Chatterjee. But that raises some very legitimate questions. One, why should Mamata Banerjee not resign? Because Partha Chatterjee, the number 2 in the cabinet, is now facing serious money laundering charges. Second, even Abhishek Banerjee is facing ED probe. Who is Abhishek Banerjee collecting funds, ill-gotten wealth for? Mamata Banerjee again. Third, these people, including the Congress, call ED by different names, idiot, this and that. On the other hand, ED has been successfully unearthing the ill-gotten wealth, 50 crores in this case, and we have seen how in the National Herald case the assets are worth 2,000 crore. So who's an idiot? Is it the TMC, and that too a corrupt idiot? That you are corrupt also, laundering people's wealth. And then you
let's not use unparliamentary language. Gaurav Bhatia, your party has come out.
I am not using. Navika ji, please. Navika ji, please understand. Please understand. Just give me 30 seconds more. I am not calling them names. All my argument is this. How justified today is it for the Congress or the TMC to cry political vendetta and call ED an idiot? That is my argument. You cannot call an investigating agency by name and then not even get one order of the Supreme Court or the High Court to show that you are innocent. That is the argument I am making. And I am aggrieved as a citizen when they call the investigating agency idiot.
Well, would you respond to him, Dr. Santanu Sen?
First of all, I strongly condemn this type of statement from a spokesperson of Bharatiya Jumla Party. He is addressing Trinamool Congress, the third largest party of the country, as idiot. He is using this unparliamentary word openly in the debate, and his Prime Minister is tagging such words as unparliamentary, which are absolutely befitting for his behavior. And his spokesperson is addressing another opponent party as idiot openly in the debate. The entire country is listening to him. Let me tell you, BJP is absolutely a microscopic existence in our state of West Bengal. He is talking that Mamata Banerjee was forced to take this decision because she was scared of BJP. The BJP party is breaking like a house of cards in our state of West Bengal. And gradually they are leading to a microscopic existence. It is the speciality of Madam Mamata Banerjee, who has been fighting for the common cause of the people at large of the country since last few decades. Unlike Bharatiya Janata Party, who allows the businessmen to run away from country after stealing so many crores of rupees. You never forget our Prime Minister was shown in the photograph with Nirav Modi.
Dada, anybody's political pace cannot be a reason for corruption to take place in that state. Most humble submission by me, but I have taken objection to the use of any unparliamentary language, certainly not on my debate against each other, because everybody for me is an honorable panelist here and there are honorable political parties, and if these words have been declared unparliamentary in the parliament...
And it is not honorable, Navika.
Absolutely it is.
Not honorable.
It is unfortunate.
It is not honorable, right?
Absolutely it is.
Okay.
Absolutely it is.
Yes.
And I
that is the point I'm making.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Point taken, but Tehseen Poonawalla, let me ask you. Idiot is a word used for the enforcement directorate by the Congress party. And the Congress party, which never gets to the point, it always talks about price rise and people's issues, but comes out on the streets only on the day ED is questioning one of their leaders. I want to ask you, when there are tons of cash that are recovered, when there is gold, when there is all this that comes out, tumbling out, the assets, can I just at the last count give you the number of flats that have been figured out by the enforcement directorate? It's quite a list. There is flat number 8A, Block 5, Clubtown Heights, Belghoria 14, BT Road, Kolkata. Flat number 2A, Block 5, Clubtown Heights, Belghoria 14, BT Road, Kolkata. Flat number 8C, Block 2, Clubtown Heights, Belghoria 14, BT Road, Kolkata. 95 Rajdanga Road, Santipalli, Kolkata. Flat number 1A, Tower 2, Diamond City South, 58 MG Road, Karunamoy, Toliganj, Kolkata. So on and so forth. At least 15 such properties and their papers that have come out of Partha Chatterjee as well as Arpita Mukherjee's houses, jointly or separately owned, but papers kept somewhere. I want to ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, when all this is tumbling out, staring people of India who earn less than 8,000 rupees a month, and that's the per capita income of India. Doesn't it seem vulgar to you that this kind of cash is being stashed, and still political parties have the gall to turn around and call action of agencies as politically motivated? I just want to ask you, that vulgar amount of cash, does it say something about poverty-stricken people?
Namaskar, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Namaskar to all my fellow panelists and to all your viewers. I'll give you a political answer in brief and a legal answer in brief. The political answer A. I completely agree with Dr. Santanu Sen of the TMC. While I disagree with the TMC as a political party, Mamata Banerjee, madam, she acted within 4 days. Is Ajay Mishra Teni, and I use this word with responsibility, the man whose son mowed down 6 farmers? I had put out the video first. There are police complaints against me there to take it back. His son has been indicted. Has he been asked to step down? This is the history of the Honorable Prime Minister. Ma'am, you will remember when the Honorable Prime Minister was Chief Minister of Gujarat, Babubhai Bokaria was convicted and sent to jail for 3 years, and he continued to be a minister in jail. So please, the BJP preaching morals is like the devil preaching the scriptures. There is no equivalence. So please, because at least the devil will have some amount of honesty that he is against the scriptures. The BJP is absolutely against parliamentary democracy. Therefore, on the show when the BJP says unparliamentary language. I find that hypocritical. Now to the legal answer. My friend Gaurav Bhatia, a very erudite lawyer and a spokesperson of BJP, has listed out these are the assets confiscated by the ED in so many raids since Mr. Modi has become Prime Minister. Congratulations to them. But if the conviction is zero, which it has been, less than 0.5%, and zero of the people who Mr. Modi's government has raided, all those assets eventually will have to be returned. They're not going to be lying with the Enforcement Directorate without a conviction. So all of this is great for news. The proof of the pudding is in somebody being sent to jail in conviction, which has not happened under Mr. Modi. So जैसे वो मुहावरा होता है हाथी के दांत दिखाने और खाने के अलग होते, सेम वही भारतीय जनता पार्टी का है.
सेम वही भारतीय जनता पार्टी का हाथी के दांत.
Can I respond?
Respond, Gaurav.
Yes. First of all, I would like to respond to Santanu Sen ji, since he was talking about parliamentary language. When Mamata Banerjee calls national president of a party JP Nadda ji, Fadda, Sadda, Gadda and all that, I remember, was that parliamentary? When she says that Pradhan Mantri ko kankad wala rasgulla khilaungi, coming from a chief minister, how parliamentary was that, Shantanu ji? And laat marungi, wo yaad aaya mujhe keh rahi thi laat marungi. That is not parliamentary. But responding to the charges that have been made by Tehseen, my dear friend, your legal knowledge, I am sure because of your experience, you have a lot of legal knowledge. But you gave an example of a minister's son committing a crime. So if the minister's son commits a crime who has been arrested, the minister should be penalized for that. By that logic, I think when Rajiv Gandhi justified बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती हिलती है, then Rahul Gandhi should be punished because Rajiv Gandhi ने justify किया. Second, you are not right when you say conviction rate is zero, because let me give you these numbers. ED, which is called Paltu by Adhir Ranjan, and I would love to know from you whether that term usage is right or not, has actually ensured 25 convictions. And do you know, after the charge sheet is filed in a court, it is for the court to undertake the trial. It is not for the investigating agency to decide the pace. And there are 992 cases that are under trial. And third, Tehseen, it's not my money alone, it's your money too. ED has recovered 1,04,702 crores of money that has been laundered by criminals. So you have to salute the ED for that. And in the end, I would only say this, that next time you make charges, today the nation wants to know from you, when the ED acts on Mamata Banerjee, party person, and ED acts on Abhishek Banerjee and Satinder Jain, is the ED good or bad, or is it political vendetta? Please answer this question.
Oh no, let me also
Can I reply?
Respond, Tehseen.
A, the 23 convictions is less than 0.5%, and if you still read the people who have been convicted, none of this money that has been seized by the ED is of those convictions or is as even remotely close. Small fries have been convicted. It means nothing. People who are charge sheeted in UPA time, not right now. You have been convicted in NDA time. Sir, let me finish, sir. Let me finish. Sir, let me finish. Please let me finish. Babubhai Bokaria, sir, 1 second. Babubhai Bokaria was a minister in Modi government. Modi ji continued to keep him minister while he was in jail. You should not be preaching either to the Congress or to Mamata ji. I think ED is a political organization, a political body being used by the BJP.
But the Congress should be preaching everybody that no institution has the right to question anybody. But let that be as it may. Let me get in Rishi Bagri. Rishi Bagri, the question here is, so much money and we are getting lessons in morality. ये नहीं बोलना चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए, ये सवाल अच्छा नहीं है, हम तो इतने अच्छे हैं, and those loads and loads of cash. And in fact, I was speaking with some of the officials concerned with this investigation, and they said the note counting machines were getting hot. There was so much cash that they had to give the machines a break. Otherwise they would have stopped functioning, and then we are getting lessons in morality on what we should say and what we shouldn't say. Rishi Bagri? rather rich coming from the opposition, both the Congress party or, the former Shiv Sena, where summons are put out and nobody comes for, answering the questions, or from the TMC?
No, Navika ji, this racket was well known in Bengal for years actually. The candidate without even an admit card to the SSC exams were given jobs, and deserving candidates were thrown under the bus. The rate card was known to all. It ranges between 3 to 10 lakhs depending upon the position. And the erstwhile Bengal governor, Jagdeep Dhankar, has raised this issue multiple times on the public platform. Calcutta High Court has given scathing observations on this recruitment scam of this mega magnitude and directed ED to pursue this recruitment scam. Now, everything got confirmed when the note bundles started tumbling out from the multiple locations linked to the Partha Chatterjee. Now, public is shocked actually. The Bengal public is shocked and anguished to see the multiple mountain of cash amassed by these leaders who actually travel in Scorpio, wear just simple dhoti kurta and wear the Hawaii chappals. And these are the people who preach simplicity in their day-to-day life. And this were the people who are amassing this kind of things. And each of these bundles of the notes from the houses of the confidants of the Partha Chatterjee being recovered has a story to tell, procured by the jobless, desperate people through loans and exhausting their savings, and handed over in the hope of a job that was never going to be given. Now, in 2021 assembly election, the same Partha Chatterjee has declared only 1.1 crore 15 lakh assets in his affidavit, which include only a modest sum of 1.5 lakh cash. And you can see the kind of cash which is tumbling out. And to cut her losses, the TMC Supremo Mamata Banerjee has distanced herself from both the Partha and the Arpita. Ironically, the same Mamata Banerjee praised same Arpita Mukherjee on a political platform for doing good work. Now we all know what kind of good work she was doing.
That was a puja platform. Let me correct you. But let me get in Dr. Santanu Sen. Since we were on parliamentary and unparliamentary language in the middle of all this, may I tell you, in February 2021, what Mamata Didi said about the Prime Minister of this country? She said he's the biggest dangabaz in the country. The country is being ruled by a Daitya and a Danab. Daitya and a Danab, apni janen to ki hoy? Mane demons are running this country. And then February 24th, she said, in this country there are two leaders. One is a Hodol Kutkut, mane a fat ugly creature, and the other is a Kimbut Kimakar. A hideously formed creature is the translation of this. I don't know the English or Hindi for these words, she said. These are typically Bengali classical words. Dr. Santanu Sen, in the middle of this debate, to bring up unparliamentary, rather rich by the Trinamool Congress.
Navika, I must appreciate your Bengali speaking skill. I loved it really. But at the same time, I ask you one question. Why don't you recall our learned Prime Minister taunting our Chief Minister, who was going to be third-term Chief Minister, by asking Didi, oh Didi, in a sarcastic manner. May I ask you
but Didi or Didi is better, or Daitya is better? I don't know. You be the judge. I'm not asking for a verdict. আমি বলছি কে এটা শুনে নিন কি বলেছেন আপনার চিফ মিনিস্টার, সেটাই বলছি। I'm not giving a value judgment, but is this
আপনি কি বলছেন সেটা আমি ভালো বুঝতে পারছি, এবার আমি যেটা বলছি সেটা আপনি বুঝুন। Why don't you recall our learned Prime Minister cherishing that taunting being done by his party cadres in an official program named after Dr. Subhash Chandra Bose at Victoria Memorial Hall, and he was cherishing this taunting being done by his party cadres towards our chief minister who was sitting beside him. You have to recall those incidents also.
Okay.
You just cannot be one-sided.
Okay, so sarcasm and saying Didi or Didi is equal to the words that have been used by her, which is Hodol Kutkut and Kimbut Ki Makar and Doitya and Danab. Anirban Banerjee, do you think we are somewhere in the middle of this political charges that are flying thick and fast, forgetting the poor people? Look at the problem of unemployment which is raised politically by the opposition parties against the BJP. Yet, back home, under your own nose, unemployed youth have to pay bribes to get jobs. And nobody is taking a look at it. It's only when that cash and that gold tumbles out that somewhere inside you something kind of dies, that you're looking at such vulgar display of wealth, but it is actually sitting on the hungry stomachs of some students who are actually wanting a job and having to pay bribes for it. What does this tell us about the situation in Bengal? And I'm not saying this is not happening elsewhere, it should be found out, but certainly at the moment the lens is on Bengal because the cash haul has happened there.
Yeah, surely. The case of unemployment, for a moment let us consider that these allegations of bribes for the government jobs regarding schools are true. Even if they are considered to be true, they do not reflect on the situation of the unemployment scenario in the entire country, because government jobs account for less than 2% of the job market. And the promises of the Prime Minister, he was then the Prime Ministerial candidate, was 2 crore jobs a year. There was supposed to be 16 crores of jobs by 2022.
My friend, find a cash haul anywhere in this country or in BJP ruled states, and I promise you, we will sit and debate that. Right now, West Bengal is where this has been found. Would you want to answer about poor people in West Bengal? I would be greatly obliged if you respond to the charge which is currently related to West Bengal.
Yes, I am. Navika, poor people, not just in West Bengal, but all over the country are being tormented by price rise directly related to gas, diesel and petrol. Whose responsibility is it?
So you're saying,
therefore,
because there is price rise and poor people are paying for it, so if there are bribes being paid in Bengal, it is fine? Is that your argument?
Nobody said that these allegations are fine. All the Bengal Chief Minister, Honorable Mamata Banerjee, said that the allegation has come up. Please let the ED conclude the investigation within 3 months. Do not carry on forever. 8 years back, the BJP called Shubhendu Adhikari a scamster. The ED started the investigation. Now he is the tallest leader of BJP in West Bengal. Where is the ED now? That is what the Honorable Chief Minister pointed her finger to us. The ED must conclude this investigation.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is only one way of looking at this. You can abuse agencies as much as you want. You can abuse the central government as much as you want. And you can say that, well, there are no BJP leaders or BJP ruled states that are being put under the lens of the investigation agencies. You can criticize that. But can you actually wish away the wealth, the bribes and the money that's been found just under some political jargon? It's something that's going to be impossible for any political party to do. The question tonight is that if bad things are happening and corruption is happening in other BJP states, well, FIRs can be filed, courts can be woken up and courts can be approached, and the matter can be given to agencies to even investigate those. But to turn your eyes away from what's happening in Bengal today is certainly not an explanation that's going to go down well with the people of India. And it's this vulgar display of cash that has been taken away from poor people looking for those government jobs that actually should hurt our conscience as a collective Indian conscience. We'll wait for more investigations to come to conclusion on this, but for now, all eyes on what happens next in Bengal. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, of course, it is Adnan Sami 2.0. I spoke to him a short while ago, putting out that interaction with a new musical hit that he's come out with, Alvida.